Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know how I normally do these things, but welcome back to my YouTube channel. My gosh. But welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so in 2021 I came to France as an au pair, and the plan was to just au pair in France for 1 year and then go back to South Africa and study. But that 1 year of au pairing turned into 2 years of au pairing with about 5 host families, and I had a range of experiences from good to bad to very bad to even like very good. But now I have 2 weeks left and then I end my au pair contract, and that's the end of au pairing for me. So I still get a lot of questions about au pairing and how I became an au pair, would I recommend it, and all of that. And I thought it would just be helpful to share with you my experiences. So yeah, I have a few questions here that was on my Instagram story that a few of you have asked, and I'll just be answering them. So I really hope it's helpful and beneficial, and if you have any more questions you can comment on this video and I will do a part 2. So yeah,
wanting to do this. Been wanting to do this.
okay, so the first question or the first statement, whatever, is what's my worst kid story? And immediately I think of when I was au pairing for this one family and they had an 11-year-old girl, and she was just not a fan of me from day one. But she would always go into my room and like intentionally mess it up. She would like take my makeup out of my bags, like use my like perfume, my conditioner, like all that stuff intentionally to like bug me. And I think that I was just surprised that she had so much audacity to do that. But I was also like very, very soft at the time, so I wouldn't even be able to confront her directly, and I would just like tell her dad, and then her dad would speak to her, and then she would like burst out in tears and apologize, but then the behavior just would like get repeated and repeated and repeated. So yeah, I would say that was the worst experience. All the other kids, obviously, you know, it's kids, it's children, so they were like disobedient from time to time, but like her going into my room, like using my makeup, like leaving it all out there for me to clearly see that she would do it. Like she like wasn't even sneaky about it. She was intentionally trying to spite me. So I think that would be the worst kid story. Then the next question was most attractive au pair parent. This is really funny because I've had like 10 parents in total, like 5 pairs, if that makes sense. And I think I've never thought of this really because I don't know, like it was always my job and I like live with them. But if I really had to think about it and whatever, I would have to say it was my first ever host family. That dad was quite young. I feel so weird. But that dad was young. Yeah, anyway, he was young and he was very stylish, like he always dressed well, but he had such a horrible personality. Like he was not a nice guy. He was very wealthy. His style was good. He looked nice. He was very tall, which is like a big deal for me. But yeah, he was attractive, but like that was my initial thought, like the first few weeks I was there, but afterwards I was like, this man is so horrible. Like, and it was even worse because he like wasn't even the actual dad of the kids, but he was the mom's boyfriend who lived with them, and he was horrible to the kids and to the mom as well, but each their own. So I would definitely say him. If you want to know how he looked, as I said, he was tall, he was light skin, you know, Jack Harlow vibes. He was very stylish, and he just had that cool energy about him. And that time, like, I couldn't speak French at all, so like hearing him speak French was also nice. But he didn't have a great personality. Okay, next question is, would you recommend au pairing to someone wanting to take an adult gap year? This question is really tough because me and all my au pair friends almost say that they would never like recommend au pairing. And I think that even now, even though I had a really good last experience, like for the past 12 months, I've been with one host family, and it's honestly been so good. The kids, the parents, not perfect, but really good. I would not go out of my way to like recommend anyone to au pair as a gap year experience. I would recommend that they do something like, what's that site called? Like Workaway or like Workbackers. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I would recommend doing something like that. Or if it's au pairing, I would say like do like 3 months of au pairing in France and then do another 3 in Italy or whatever, if your aim is to have a gap year. But I think that au pairing is often really tough, and everybody always hears horror stories. Like when I speak to families at church, they always say that they've heard like horror stories about it, and how's my like host family and all of that. And I think it's true. I think that there are a lot of horror stories because most au pairs don't have a good experience. I'm not saying it's the host families, it could be both parties, but how I see it is that it's like literally a random ball game. It's like you, this girl, woman, most of the time there's like guys as well, but this woman like, and this random family as well. You're just going on an online platform, you're choosing a host family, you have a few interviews with them, you like meet their kids, they nice. Obviously everybody's nice in interviews and stuff, that's normal. And I don't think host families and au pairs are even like fake. Like I do think that when the family introduces themselves, they are genuinely nice. But I think that when you have to live with a family and work with them, it's a complete different ball game, because culture comes into play, like different lifestyles. Like if the au pair wants to go out late, come home late, how clean the au pair is, how clean the host family is, timing, thinking, if the au pair is a slow worker, a quick worker, if she takes 10 hours to clean the kids' room or like 2 hours. I think there's just so many factors, and I do think that that's the reason most au pairs don't have a good experience, or they would not recommend au pairing. And I would say you should au pair if you are able to really adapt yourself to different environments, and if you can brush things off. The one last perspective I like want to say is that every family has their own problems and their own struggles and stuff. Like no family is perfect. And it's even worse when it's not your own family and you living with them and working for them. It's like the problems and the stuff all seem a bit worse, in my opinion. Yeah, I hope that's not pessimistic. I just want to be honest. Next question was, what was your happiest and what was your most challenging situation? So the happiest one for sure was when I arrived in France the first time, which was February 2020. Have I been saying 2021? I arrived in 2022. Sorry, February 2022. Because I think just being able to pull off the whole au pair thing on my own, like going through the whole au pair process, the whole visa process, like flying on my own. It was my first time. I felt big. I felt accomplished. It was a big deal. And then arriving, and I had my own room. I had a little balcony, and I was just outside of Paris, and it was a really nice city, and I could go out and stay out till whatever time. Like I just had a lot of freedom, and I just felt like genuine happiness of like, how did this all happen? Like, wow. And that host family was good. Like the kids were sweet, the parents were fine. It was the attractive dad one anyway, but things ended up not working out anyway. But yeah, I think that my first week in France, like realizing like, oh my gosh, like this is my, as I was saying, that first week or first few weeks was definitely my happiest moment. Then the most challenging was when I left one host family and I went to another one. And when I went to this host family, it was so the host family that I changed to lived in a village, and it was a really quiet town. And it was also like with the kids who weren't nice at all, and I was very soft at that time. Like I could not handle it. and I decided to leave them after 6 weeks. And I felt really, really bad because they had helped me so much to move out of my first host family's house, and they helped me with the transition. They were taking it easy on me. Like, the parents were honestly so nice. The first host family, like after I like left them, were also horrible, and they were saying that they're gonna revoke my visa and I need to leave France and all of these things. And I was scared because I didn't know if they could. I didn't know how it would happen. And this host family had like emailed Au Pair World for me, had just helped me all along. But I was having such a bad experience, like with the kids and the daughter, like going into my stuff and intentionally trying to spite me. And that's besides the two other kids and how they were. And I think I knew it was bad because I was like crying every day. I wanted to go back home. And one day, my hours were also really long because I don't want to give too much information, never mind, but I would work all day on a Saturday, like from 9 in the morning until 11 at night. And one Saturday I just like couldn't handle it because they were all being horrible, and they would complain to the mom about me, and then eventually the parents, who were so kind and sweet, started turning on me, and it became my fault. And I hid in the bathroom one day and I was just crying, and I had to calm down because I was like, I still have like 6 hours left, but I couldn't stop crying. And that happened for like the rest of the week, and I was like, no, this isn't for me. But I think it was really tough because I felt bad because the mom and the dad were always good to me and they helped me a lot from my first host family. And after 6 weeks, like not even a full 2 months, I decided to leave. So yeah, maybe not the smartest decision, but when I look back, I would have still left because I was in a really low place. Then, would you do au pairing again? Like, is it worth it? Because I hear horror stories. So I kind of answered that question already. I would not au pair again. Maybe, look, I think I would if it's like 1 month, or if it's like for the summer, or maybe I would if it was with this host family now, or if times were different, whatever. But at least for now, I don't want to, and I would not want to. I like would not au pair without a purpose, and my main thing for au pairing was to find out like what I want to do with my life, to take a gap year, explore France, learn French, and that's kind of done now. So yeah. And then someone says, hey, I'm busy with the process. What's the minimum I can ask for and the weekend off? Okay, so I think this person means what's the minimum amount of days she can ask for off, or just off days in general. So normally how it works, according to Au Pair World, is that for every 12 months you au pair, you get a month off. A month meaning 20 days, because it's 5 days a week, and 5 times 4 is 20. And weekends you are already supposed to have off. So you should always have weekends off as an au pair. Yeah. How did you start studying while being an au pair, and the process to change the visa? So what happened was I was only au pairing for 1 year. And then I went back home to South Africa, and I wanted to come back to France and au pair, but I also wanted to start my studies. So I started studying online with a South African university, and I came back to France. And then I came back and I renewed my visa only from France. And it was renewed as a student visa, but it wasn't linked to me being a student in South Africa. Okay, so technically I would have renewed it on an au pair visa, but I didn't because it worked out better for my host family that I had a student visa, and they helped me with that. But it's not linked at all to me actually being a student. It was just that it suited my host family better. So then they enrolled me with a childcare agency, which got me a student visa. It was a whole process. And the process to change your visa is, I would say, not quick and easy, because no admin is really easy in France, but you just do it online on your online platform for South Africans. At least you do everything online, and then it takes quite a while. It took me 4 months to know if my visa was accepted or not. And then once it is accepted, they'll send you your carte de séjour, so your like residence card, and that also takes quite some time. Then the next question was, Why did you choose to au pair in France and not America? And will you au pair in America? Okay, I chose to au pair in France because I did French in high school, and that kind of sparked an interest in the French culture and in the French language for me. I also wanted to improve my French because in high school I was really bad at French. Like, I had my end of school exams and I had a French exam, like proper unprepared essays. I also had a set workbook and all of that, but I was easily the like weakest in my class, and I really wanted to be able to speak French. Still learning, but yeah. So I chose France for that reason, because I had an interest and I wanted to speak French. I didn't choose America. I never thought of America because I just felt like it was always like basic and everybody wants to go to America. I think I had more of an interest in like just like Europe more than America, and I'd never been to Europe, whereas I had went on like a small family trip to America already. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make this my last question because it looks like this is gonna be a long video, and then I'll make another video because I have a few more questions. But oh wait, I can do 2 questions. Sorry. Okay, so the one question was, will you extend your program? That's no, because I am done and I'm moving on to something else, which I'll speak about again. But even if I was not moving on to something else and I didn't have another opportunity, I would still not extend it. Okay. Then, were you scared of leaving? I think everybody's always scared of leaving their host family, no matter if the host family was like really bad to them or like really good. I think it's always hard leaving. And now obviously it's different because it is the end of my contract and I got a good opportunity, so it all makes sense. My host family understands, like everyone's supporting each other and stuff. But I think when you end your actual contract earlier and you leave, it's often because of a bad experience, and that's hard. So I was scared. Yeah, I was scared. I was like, what if I don't enjoy the next host family? You never know how a host family will react. Like, I know of people who were put out of the house like immediately or had to leave like the next day because they said they aren't happy and they like want to leave in 2 weeks or eventually, and they were asked to leave immediately. So you never really know how a host family will react. I have a few more questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 more questions. I'm going to answer in another video so that this one isn't too long. But I hope it was helpful. If I didn't answer anything properly, please comment on the video or DM me. I never reply to my DMs, but DM me or comment on the video. And yeah, I mean, either way, if you really do still want to be an au pair, I could give good insight on how to choose a good family, etc., etc. But it's not something I would be posting everywhere and making it my new Instagram bio, like hashtag become an au pair in 2024. Yeah. Again, I hope this was helpful, and I'll make a part 2. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good week. I hope you're all keeping warm if you're in Europe, and if you're in South Africa, enjoy Clifton without me. I'm gonna eat this galette now. So yeah.